السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. We continue inshallah ta'ala with our Arabic language part of our program, Summer with Surah al-Baqarah. We have two more topics inshallah ta'ala to finish with our course or our handout, that which we set aside for this summer. But before that, as we normally do, we just recap on the last thing that we did. And that was al-dharf. As we mentioned, the dharf is one of two things that we call in English prepositions. In English, we have prepositions, words that shows the position of things, like in, on, under, above. And these words, prepositions, normally you translate it as what in Arabic? Harf al-jar. But not all prepositions are harf al-jar. Right? Not all prepositions are huruf. Some prepositions are huruf and some are asma. Some are nouns. And those that are nouns, we call them in Arabic dhuruf. Right? Or dharf, the singular. And when the word is actively showing the place or the time of an event or a thing, it is normally in the mansoob state. It's normally in the mansoob state. Unless it's preceded by a harf jar, then it's going to be in majrur, the majrur state. For example, if we were to say the bag is under the bed, al-haqibatu tahta as-sariri, right? Tahta, it's showing the place where the bag is. So there it's a preposition. But it's not a harf, it's a noun. And you can say, you can put a preposition before this preposition. Right? You can put a preposition before this preposition. You can put a harf jar before this dharf, like is throughout the Quran. Tajri min tahti ha al-anhar. Tajri min tahti hal anhar. And remember, one of the signs of the noun is a preposition preceding it. You can't put a preposition before a verb, and you can't put a preposition before a harf. Or more specifically, you can't put a harf before a harf jar. You can't put a harf jar before a harf, and you can't put a harf jar before a verb. Right? When we did the signs of the nouns, the verbs, and the huruf. Excuse me. So that's what we covered yesterday, and we gave some examples of words showing the place and the time of an event or a person or a thing. And we mentioned as an example the word yawm. The word yawm means day. If it's used as a regular subject or predicate, it would be marfu. Right? If the word yawm, day, like if I say the day is bright, are we saying anything is happening? Right? We're not saying anything is happening. We're not showing time. The day is bright. We are describing the day. The day of judgment is severe. Right? Yawmul qiyamati azim. We're not saying something is happening. But if we are saying something is happening on the day, then it's when it's going to be a dharf. It's going to take fatha state. And we give the example from Surah al-Infitar. Yaslawnaha yawm ad-din. They will burn in it when? The day of judgment. But then wama adraka ma yawmuddin. What will make you know what is the day of judgment? Right? When it is khabar, there it is predicate. It's not showing time. You're asking about it. What will make you know what it is? What is the day of judgment? It takes dhamma. Thumma ma adraka ma yawmuddin. And then yawma la tamliku. The day when no soul will possess any benefit for another soul. Yawma la tamliku nafsun. So in that verse, and the one preceded, meaning yaslawnaha yawma din, it's fatha because those two verses, the word day is showing when. وَيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ يُرَدُّونَ إِلَىٰ أَشَدِّ الْعَذَابِ. Like we have here, on the day of judgment, they will be sent back to the most severe of punishment. So that's a review of the last thing we did. They got upstairs? It should be. Okay. We have some of the handouts if the brothers want. This is a part 2. If anyone. Okay, the next topic we have al-nafiyah lil-jins. The la that negates a jins or a type, a category. al-nafiyah lil-jins is a grammatical concept used to negate an entire category of a noun. It negates the existence of any member within that category and within the context that it's talking about. Right? Within the category, within the context. For example, if you were to say, La rajula fil bayt. There is no man in the house. Means everyone under the category of man, anyone who's considered a man is not present in the house. There may be women, right? But la rajul, there is no man, maybe a child. La rajula fil bayt. There is no man in the house. So this is the la that negates an entire category. And when we say within the context, meaning the context here is what? The house. We're not saying there is no man existing, period. Right? There is no man in the city or in the village. No, within that context. It's not an absolute negation. It's within the context. Now, if you were to say la ahada fil bait, that's going to negate everyone. There is no one in the house. Presence of anyone, man, woman, child, right? La ahada fil bait. Now, in order to meet this meaning, or to carry this meaning, there are three conditions. The noun after this la must be mansub, right? Meaning fatha state. And three other conditions. The negated noun must be indefinite. No alif and lam. You're not going to say la rajulu fil bait or la rajula. If you say alif and lam, la rajulu is going to give a different meaning. The noun must come after the la directly. Right? Not la fil baiti rajula. No, la rajula fil bait. And there is no preposition attached to the la. Right? Bila, for example. You're not going to say bila rajula. So it's la with the indefinite noun right after it. And the meaning of it is what? It negates everything under the category. That's the main point of this. What is the purpose of this? Not a grammatical structure, but understanding what it necessitates, what it implies when you say la rajula. So for example, the statement famous, la ilaha. You're negating what? Everything that is considered an ilah. What's an ilah? Anything being worshipped. La ilaha. There is nothing being worshipped. Doesn't exist. Anything that's being worshipped except Allah. Now, what's the translation of la ilaha? Where they get the translation true? You know, when they ask what's the meaning of la ilaha illallah, in Arabic is what? La ma'buda haqqan or la ma'buda bihaqqin illallah. Where they get haqq or bihaq from? How is it implied? This is just a drift off. Now, what's the meaning of ilah? Anything that's being worshipped. Now, the reality is, are there things being worshipped besides Allah? Yes. Right? There are many things being worshipped besides Allah. So that will necessitate that the statement mean you are negating the true being for worship. There is no one being worshipped with truth, truly. No true God except Allah. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. Right? Negating doubt completely. قَالُوا سُبْحَانَكَ لَا عِلْمَ لَنَا. We have no knowledge. No knowledge, lana, belongs to us. We have no knowledge. They're negating absolute knowledge from themselves except that which Allah has taught them. La ikraha fid din. There is no compulsion in religion, negating every aspect of ikrah, of compulsion. So when we see la followed by a noun in a singular form, fatha, what we understand is that it's negating that thing completely. Now if I say la rajulu fil bait, are we going to understand from this that it means there is no man in the house? If we were to say la rajulu fil bait. Huh? Right? We're not going to understand that the person means there is no man in the house. What is going to mean? The man is not in the house. Right? Whoever man you are talking about, he is not in the house. Clear? The next concept we have, and this is the last one, yes, is al-hal, was known as al-hal. Now, al-hal is describing the state of an action. Now, we did hal before with something. Who remember? We did something that indicates hal. Clue. When we did the types of something, we mentioned that one of them indicates state. We didn't use the word hal, we used the word state. We mentioned about 3 or 4 types. There are 3 or 4 types of this thing. We said one indicates state, the state of an action. Huh? Not the type of men. The type of wow. When we mention one of the wow, wa, it can indicate the state, right? فَأَخَذَتْهُمُ الصَّاعِقَةُ وَهُمْ يَنْظُرُونَ. The cry took them while they are looking, meaning while they are in the state looking, showing the state that they were while the cry took them. So this is hal, the same concept. Now hal, as we mentioned, describe the condition or state of a person or thing at the time an action takes place, at the time of an action. For example, if we were to say he came smiling, the word smiling describes the state in which he came, how he came, right? He came smiling. In Arabic, the hal is generally mansub also. So it will usually take a fatha, and it's often indefinite, meaning there's no alif and lam on the word. Now this is if the hal is a single word, right? Not a sentence. For example, in Surah Al-Baqarah, قُلْنَا, we said, إِهْبِطُوا مِنْهَا, descend from it, جَمِيعًا, all together. Now why جَمِيعًا is fatha? Because it's describing the state in which they are descending, all together. Clear? What other purpose is it serving? Is it serving any other purpose? It's not the information. This is a verbal sentence, ihbitu, right? It's not the doer of the verb. It's not the object of the verb. What is it doing? Describing how the verb to be done. Go down all together in the state. All of you together. Jami'a. وَآمِنُوا بِمَا أَنزَلْتُ مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا مَعَكُمْ. We see this throughout the Quran. مُصَدِّقًا with fathatain. Why is it fathatain? And believe in that which I send down, I reveal. مُصَدِّقًا, confirming that which is with you. So when you see the word musaddiqan, it's showing the state in which this thing was sent. Right? Believing that which I sent, meaning the revelation, and it was sent, doing what? In which state? Confirming that which is with you. Like in the example, he came smiling. What state he came in? In a state of smiling. So the revelation, it came in what state? In the state of confirming that which is with them. Like Isa alayhi salam, what he said? Ya bani Israel, inni rasulullahi ilaykum musaddiqan lima bayna yaday. I am a messenger to you, musaddiqan, confirming that which is before you. Why he's saying musaddiqan and not musaddiqun? Because it's describing the state in which he came. فَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ, if you fear, this is in the context of the salah, right? If you are fearful, فَرِجَالًا أَوْ رُكْبَانًا. Rijalan means on your feet, from rijl, not from rajul, right? Rijalan is not a plural for rajul, it's not men. It means on your feet. And rukban means riding. So rijal means walking, rukban means riding. So if you are fearful, then rijalan, meaning in the state of walking, or rukbanan, or in the state of riding. Meaning what? Pray in the state walking, or pray in the state of riding. Pray while you are walking, or pray while you are riding. Right? The Salatul Khawf. Right? This is from the verse, حافظوا على الصلوات والصلاة الوسطى قوموا لله قانتين. كلوا واشربوا من رزق الله ولا تعثوا في الأرض مفسدين. Kulu washrabu, eat and drink from the provisions of Allah. Wala ta'thaw, and don't act wickedly on the earth. Ta'thaw fil ard, meaning you acting corruptly on the earth, wickedly on the earth, causing corruption. Mufsidin. Mufsidin is also a state, right? Mufsid is the one who causing corruption. Fasad, from fasad. So why is mufsidin? Because it's prohibiting them from being in the state of mufsidin. Right? Don't go through the land acting wickedly, causing corruption. All of it describing a state. الذين ينفقون أموالهم بالليل والنهار سرا وعلانية. Those who spend their wealth bil-layli wan-nahar, in the night and in the day. In what state? Sirran, secretly, wa alaniyatan, and openly. These are some examples from Surah Al-Baqarah. Now some easier examples, you can write them down inshallah, in case these were a little difficult to process. In Surah An-Namal, who memorized Surah An-Namal? When Sulaiman alayhi salam passed by the village of the ants, and one of the ants, what he said, he told the other ants to enter into your home. And then Sulaiman, he heard, and what was his response? Fatabassama dahikan. Fatabassama dahikan. Tabassama means he smiled, right? Watabassumuka fi wajhi aqiqa sadaqa. Your smile in the face of your brother is a sadaqa. Tabassama means he smiled. And dahik means what? Laugh, right? Dahik is the one who is laughing. By what? Why is it dahikan and not dahikun? Okay, describing the state in which he smiled. He smiled laughing. He smiled laughing. So the word describing the state in which he smiled is hal. It's going to be mansub. Fatabassama dahikan. Now, the word for fast is sari', and the person you describe them as musri'. Right? Musri'. The person. So if we say, a man came, or the man came fast, ja'a ar-rajulu musri'an. The man came fast. What is the purpose of the word fast there? Describing the state in which he came. This is similar to what is known as the adverb in English. Right? The adverb in English describe the verb. So ja'a ar-rajulu musri'an. And even if you use ja'a ar-rajulu sari'an, describing the state in which the man came. Hmm? Yeah, musaddiqun. Now there is, you gotta apply. If it's musaddiqun, where is it gonna be? If it's musaddiqun, that means the word there is a sifa, is a description. It's more permanent. Right? جاءهم كتاب من عند الله مصدق. So musaddiqun there is in the mansub state, marfu state, and kitab is marfu. Kitab is dhamma tain, musaddiq is dhamma tain. So it's going to mean that musaddiq there, the understanding for it is description. Remember, the description follow the noun with everything. So it's not state. The meaning, the general meaning is the same, and the meaning of the actual word is the same, conforming. But when you say ja'ahum kitabun musaddiqun compared to ja'ahum kitabun musaddiqan, if you say ja'ahum kitabun musaddiqan, you're describing the state in which the book came. And if you say ja'ahum kitabun musaddiqun, you're describing the actual book. You understand? For example, if I say a fast man came, and I was to say the man came fast. The fast man came. What fast doing? Describing the man. That is description. So you can say Ja'a rajulun musri'un. A fast man came. But if I say Ja'a rajulu musri'an, the man came fast. So one is telling you that this, when he came, that state in which he came, he was fast. And the other one is telling you the man is always fast, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he came fast. Right? How you get the understanding from the voweling of the word. Right? If it's fatha, it's state. If it's matching the noun, then it's adjective. Right? If it's matching the noun completely, which is most of the time, it's going to be, if the noun is definite, it's going to be definite. And if the noun is indefinite, it's going to be in the marfu state. I'm not thinking of any example where you're going to have a indefinite noun and then you mention in the state. Because the state is normally to describe something definite. And especially if it's after a sentence. If it's a sentence with the waw, right? The sentence after, if the word is indefinite, is going to be a description. And if the word is definite, it's going to be state. That's with the waw that we did before. But the concept, is the concept clear? It's just picking it out. Okay. So with that, we completed, bifadlillahi ta'ala, that which we set aside for this course. And as you see, it's a lot of things compact together. The aim was to relate it to Surah Al-Baqarah. So we had information all over the place. Now, the advice or the suggestion, you review everything and then you gather it yourself. And that's going to aid in reviewing, right? As you review, like for example, we talk about the plural, masculine plural, the definite masculine plural. We talk about the feminine plural, but in different places, put all together, right? Put everything we study about verb together. Everything we study about nouns together. That's going to help you to review. But due to the nature of the program, that's why we had information, some very simple in the beginning, and then followed by something difficult, then followed back by something simple, as we were trying to relate to the verses that we covered. Is there any question before we continue? Any concept that was difficult, we're gonna start with those and then review everything else, inshallah ta'ala. And tomorrow, we are going to go through some verses from Surah Al-Baqarah. We're going to go through it and apply everything that we did from the program. So the entire class tomorrow is going to be on that, right? We're going to go through some verses from the Surah, just as we did. But now we're going to apply everything. Each section that we took previously, we were applying things partially, right? Taking some of the concept. Every chapter, a new set of concepts. So tomorrow the plan is to go through some verse and apply everything that is possible to the verse that we learn. Extract all of the types of emphasis, for example. And also we're going to go through it with an actual translation and compare it. As we see many times, some of the concepts don't get translated, right? It's lost. If you don't understand the concept, that meaning would have lost if you're just relying on the translation. Yeah, you can say that. The last concept is the adverb. And if you, to make things easy, if everything that is considered an adverb, you put it in mansub state, you're gonna be on the right track. Right? Everything in English that we call adverb, it goes back to more than one concept in Arabic. But if you put all in mansub state, you're gonna be on the right track, inshallah. Like how we mentioned, everything in preposition in English goes back to two concepts in Arabic, harf jar and ism majrur. Harf jar and dharf, right? Everything that we call preposition in English goes back to harf jar or being a dharf. Harf jar being a dharf. And if we were to put kasra after either one, we're going to be on the same track, right? If we were to say, every time we come across a preposition, put kasra and the word after it, it's going to be correct, right? Because in Arabic, after the harf jar is ism majrur, which is in kasra state or majrur, and after the dharf is mudaf ilay, which is also majrur, kasra state. So you can say the same thing about adverb. Anything that is adverb in English, put it in mansub state, and inshallah, you're going to be on the same track, on the safe track, inshallah. The sisters, they can post any concept they want to review in the group. Those following online, you can use the YouTube chat. Yesterday, we had mentioned something that we didn't. We said we're going to come back to it. Anyone remember what was it? Yeah, when we said that is dharf, right? Yeah, I think we mentioned that yesterday. We said to put a question mark on it, but it is dharf. Alfa sana. Why alpha? Is because it is dharf, telling you the time that they want to be granted life. the concept of Asma'ul Ishara with Alif and Lam. Clear? Asma'ul Ishara with Alif and Lam. Okay. Let's Asma'ul Ishara, demonstrative pronouns like hadha, hadihi, hadani, hatani, haulai, tilka, dhalika, ulaik. If it's followed by a definite noun, alif and lam, a noun with alif and lam, we say it can carry two possible meanings. For example, hadha al-walad can either mean this boy or this is the boy, right? This boy or this is the boy. How we know which one? Easy way, the context, to see which one is appropriate. Now, it might be, you might have situation where it's ambiguous, right? Meaning, it's possible either way. Can mean this is the boy or this boy. For example, like in the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابِ can mean this book, or it can mean this is the book, right? And the implication for both going to be slightly different. This book or this is the book. And the tafsir of it going to be affected depending on the scholar, how he is looking at the verse and what is meant by the verse. And if you want to make it definite, meaning the meaning, to indicate which is the subject and which is the predicate, what you do? You put a pronoun in between. So when we say هَذَا هُوَ الْوَلَدِ, it's only going to mean this is the boy and not this boy, right? For example, in the Quran you have, for example, أُولَٰئِكَ humul muflihun. If we say ulaika al-muflihun, it can mean those are the successful ones, or it can mean those successful ones. But when you say ulaika humul muflihun, it's only going to mean those are the successful ones. So that's one of the purpose of that pronoun. It's called damir al-fasl. And another purpose of it is to show a form of emphasis and exclusiveness, meaning in that group they are the only successful ones. Ulaika humul kadhibun, they are the liars, meaning in that group they are the ones who are the liars. Like in the story of the if. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَأْتِ, what's the verse? لولا جاءوا عليه بأربعة شهداء فإذا لم يأتوا فأولئك هم الكاذبون. Correct? Reading it right? فأولئك عند الله هم فأولئك فإذا لم يأتوا بالشهداء فأولئك عند الله هم الكاذبون. They are the liars. Now, what is the purpose? Meaning in that group, we have two groups. A group of individuals accusing another group of committing zina. So you have those who are accusing, making the accusation, and those who are being accused. So if you don't have four witnesses, those who are making the accusation, they are the liars with Allah. Even if they might be speaking the truth in reality, but with Allah, they are the liars, right? Compared to the group who've been accused. So that's another purpose of putting that damir there. Apart from separating between the mubtada and the khabar, the subject and the predicate, it gives you that meaning of emphasis. and exclusiveness. Let's review the where we did the i'rab, where we introduce the state endings. These are the name of the states, right? Every word in the sentence, based on its grammatical function or purpose, gonna either be in one of these four states. Now the state is called raf, nasb, jar, or jazm. The word that is in the state is going to be marfu or mansub or majrur or majzoom. Now, if it's a verb, there are only three states out of the four that is specific for that the verb will be in. Not specific for the verb. One is specific for the verb, and one state is specific for the noun, and there is two states that shares between the verb and the noun. Both verbs and nouns can be marfu and mansub, right? Both verbs and nouns can be mansub and or marfu. Majrur is only for nouns and majzoom is only for verbs. You're not going to have a noun that is majzoom or in the state of jazm. And you're not going to have a verb that is majrur or in the state of jar. Clear? Verbs would either be marfu, mansub, or majzoom. They wouldn't be majrur. And nouns would either be marfu, mansub, or majrur. Nouns wouldn't be majzoom. Now, question. If we say, Lam ya'ti Muhammad. Lam ya'ti Muhammad. What's the meaning? Muhammad didn't come. Correct? Ata ya'ti. Ata, he came. Ya'ti, he comes. Right? Lam ya'ti Muhammad. Muhammad didn't come. Now what the verb end with there? How we if we were to write ya'ti, how we write it? Ya with a hamza and ta with a kasra. That's it. Right? Lam ya'ti. It ends with the last vowel on the verb is what? Kasra. And we just say that verbs can't be majrur. We did this. Nothing to do with the feminine. We did it when we did lam and lan and lamma, the different ways of negation or different means of negation. Lam ya'ti Muhammad. If you go back to the page that we did negations, that's why you got to review, right? You got to review. No matter how clear it was in the class, if you don't constantly review, it's going to gone. Page 31 and 32. More specific, page 31 for this one. Lam ya'ti Muhammad. Why? We just say verbs can be majrur, and we are saying ya'ti. When you put lam before a verb, what it does to it? It does with the meaning, it negates the meaning of the present tense in the past, right? It's used with the present tense verb to negate the meaning in the past. But what it does to it grammatically, i'rab wise, what state it put the word in? Majzoom. Lam put the verb in which state? Majzoom. And we mentioned something, a regular verb when it's majzoom, it takes what? Sukun. And if the verb ends with a weak letter, how is it majzoom? You drop the weak letter. So is this verb majur or majzoom? Lam ya'ti Muhammad. What state is the verb? Majur or majzoom? Huh? No, we just said lam makes the verb what? Majzoom. So the verb's always going to be majzoom. So lam ya'ti Muhammad, the verb is what? Majur or majzoom? Majzoom. So we didn't break the rule. But how is it majzoom? With the removal of the weak letter. So the verb didn't end with kasra. Where is the end of the verb? It's removed. Right? It's in a state of jazm. It's in a state of jazm. So if you see a kasra on a verb like that, know that that's not the state of the verb. Right? The verb is in the state of jazm. It's majzoom. Remember the exam coming up, so you gotta start reviewing easy. No matter how easy it was in the class, if you don't review, it's not gonna stick. And then we mentioned the default signs for each state. If it's dammas, if it's marfu' in the state of raf, the default sign is damma. Other signs we did two other signs. Or two other words. What's another sign that a word is marfu'? This is a default sign, a secondary sign. Words like muslimun, mujrimun. What's the sign that is marfu'? The waw, right? The waw. So you say ja'a al-mudarrisun, but ra'aytu al-mudarrisin, right? Those words change with the waw and the ya. Similar to the dual. Qalamani, qalamaini. When we say qalamani, when it is marfu. And when we say qalamaini, mansub or majur. Similarly, we say muslimun when it is marfu, and muslimin when it is mansub or majur. And another word we did. It is marfu with damma, mansub with alif. Sorry, marfu with waw, mansub with alif, and majur with ya. What was the word? Remember dhu? Dhu fadlin azim, right? Dhu malin, dha malin, dhi malin. The word dhu. That means possessor of. Right? Gather review. Can't survive without revision. See here we have then we have the application of it. Every subject is always, subject and predicates are always marfu. You don't have to worry about the grammatical purpose changing its state. Every subject is always going to be marfu. What you have to remember is the words. How is it marfu? Is it marfu with a damma, a ya, a waw? That is what you have to remember. Right? Every khabar is always going to be marfu. the doer of the verb is always going to be marfu. You just have to know that word, how you make it marfu. Is it changing with vowels? Is it changing with letters? Right? Every object is always going to be mansub. The word after the mudaf, meaning the mudaf ilay, is always going to be majur. The word after a preposition, or more specifically the harf jar, is always going to be majur. And recently we did hal. The hal, the single word that is showing the state, always going to be we just did it. Mansub, right? It's always going to be mansub. And you just have to remember how to make the word mansub or majur or marfu. So we're going to end here inshallah. And tomorrow, as we said, we're going to go through some verses from Surah Al-Baqarah as more practice, and apply what we did. And that's going to be a form of revision too, inshallah ta'ala. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. The tafsir inshallah going to start 6:15.